Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to speak to you about the biblical view of the Advent moment. And here's why. The word Advent simply means coming. Many Christians observe and celebrate Advent in preparation for Christmas. As they best remember, Christ is coming to earth as a baby. The future return of Christ is often called the second coming or the second, expecting Christ to return, might be referred to as an Adventist. However, the word Adventist is normally reserved for people or groups who expect Christ to return at any moment or at least allow for that possibility. Now, post-millennialists, post-millennialists, and those who believe in a post-tribulation rapture would not fall into this category. However, those who believe in this sense, especially got questions. The one I'm doing right here, right now, could be considered an Adventist group, especially when the rapture is not synonymous or variation of the second event. It is the second event, Advent, beyond the broad theological meaning that could apply to the great number of Christians. A limited number of groups through the years have been referred to as Adventist. Now, the beginning of Adventism as a movement is often credited to William Miller, a preacher who predicted that Jesus Christ would return sometime in either 1843 or 1844. Trusting Miller, his followers withdrew from society and waited. This resulted in what is referred to as the Great Disappointment of 1844. Now, when Jesus did not return, when Miller predicted he would, most of the Millerites went back to their normal lives. Miller continued to express confidence in the return of Christ when he admitted that he may have made some errors in the calculation of the subject that I am speaking about. Right now, there are only two major groups that have the label Advent or Adventist in their names. Seventh-day Adventists rose directly from the theological line of William Miller through the further teachings of Ellen G. White. There are many doctrinal problems with Seventh-day Adventism. When the name Seventh-day Adventist refers to two parts of their theology. All right, number one, they observe the seventh day, Saturday, as a Sabbath. And two, they expect the Lord to return at any time. They are also Adventists who observe the seventh day. All right. Now, the Advent Christian Church is another significant body with the word Advent in its name. Sometimes they refer to themselves as First Day Adventists. There are some significant differences between Advent Christians and Seventh-day Adventists, although both trace their development back to William Miller. Advent Christians are generally Orthodox, with the exception that they teach soul sleep, which means that when a person dies, he sleeps until the return of Christ. In other words, the soul is not consciously aware of anything until it is reunited with the resurrected body at the second event, or in case of unbelievers, resurrected for judgment. This doctrine is an error, as the scripture teaches that for the believer to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Philippians 1:23. All right. Another problem with the Advent Christian Church is clarity regarding the means of salvation. Neither their statement of faith nor the declaration of principles and elaboration on their statement of faith contains an ambiguous statement of justification by faith alone. So it is not uncommon to find some within the Advent Christian churches who are trusting Christ alone for salvation and others who are holding on to some mixture of faith and works. And I want you to notice the same can be said of many churches that do have clear statement regarding justification by faith. Okay? And finally, to conclude the series of messages, in addition to these two major groups that I have explained to you, there are a number of minor Adventist groups. In the final analysis, all of Adventists hold in common an expectation of the imminent return of Christ. Beyond that belief, there are a great many differences that have to be examined and evaluated separately. While Scripture does teach us to expect the return of Christ at any time, setting dates and making specific predictions is always unbiblical. See Matthew 24:36. Now, what this scripture is saying is, when you take a look at two groups that have Adventists in their names, obviously, they deal with a lot of problems on which no other church would talk about. However, though, if you get, and if in the series of messages, I'm trying to explain to you that if you will understand what Advent is, then they will refer to themselves as First Day Adventists. However, though, if you fall asleep, if someone teaches you about that, then and each time when you pass away, then you sleep until the Lord returns. I don't believe in any of that. But what I do believe is when God is already passed, just as He had with Resurrection Sunday. Well, thank you very much for listening, and you have a blessed night. Take good care. Goodbye.